Hey, how are you guys doing? Welcome to episode 2 of the podcast called Our Identity. I'm Tokyo Sharif, and this is my guest.
Stephen Donerson.
And right now, we're going to discuss a little bit about Stephen's life and figure out what his identity is and what's his life story. So, Stephen, how long have I known you?
I would say close to a year. It'll be a year in June.
Yeah. And we met through work. We both work at MCN Build. It's a general contractor here in DC, and we're building a school together in Southeast. So tell me a little bit about yourself.
Well, my name is Stephen Donerson. Like I said before, I've been on this in this realm probably about five decades now. I'm not going to say my exact age, but I'm just going to say 5 decades. So I'm very experienced in a lot of things, and yet I'm still pretty much a newbie in a lot of other areas of life. So I always take the opportunity to learn at least one new thing minimum per day. I'm a sports person. I like, various sports. Not as much anymore, but I'm moving more towards life's experiences and just being a overall servant to this realm and what God has planned for me. So I don't know what that is at this moment, but I'm just going along the way and just continuing to serve people. So I would say that I love to serve people. At this stage of my life, I come from a very diverse background, and we're all a complex people. So I just let you, fire away your questions, and I'll try to be as forthright as possible, and keep my answers under a dissertation. So.
No, that's a great explanation, a great intro. I liked it a lot. One thing that you touched on was your ethnic and racial background. I just wanted to kind of delve into that because at the end of the day, no matter how much we like to say we can't see color, race does play a role in how we live our lives.
Yes, sir.
So please, for the audience, tell them, where are you from? What kind of background do you have? What sort of, experiences did you go through growing up?
Okay. Well, I grew up, I'm a military brat. I grew up on a military installation in Washington, D.C., Walter Reed Army Medical Center. It's a very, very famous hospital as far as in the military realms, as far as dealing with cutting edge technology as far as with medical. So since the Civil War is when the hospital was actually enacted. So yes, sir. So just have proud history there, and my mom my mom and dad were married for 24 plus years. They divorced after 24 years, and my dad remarried. My mom did not, and she pretty much was a single mother. She raised 4 kids, 3 boys and a girl by herself. Of course, we say by herself, but meaning that there was no male figure in the household. So, but through the community, through gentlemen and seniors, I like to call them seasoned citizens. They were always willing to give a helping hand, whether it was through knowledge or just correcting me as a youth, and just being able to move about on a military installation was a little different because we had a little bit more freedom because we knew that we were pretty much on a base, military base. So it was pretty normal. I would say pretty average for an American growing up on a military base. But once my mom and dad divorced, things definitely changed. It's a lot of change, and it was very challenging. I won't say that it was anything else but challenging, because what we go through in life helps to make up, develop us in the future, and hopefully we can take our challenges and turn them around and see how we can handle situations better in the future, and or be able to deal with that situation like that in the future in a better way. So just always trying to give people the benefit of the doubt, and just be more about the community, and what you touched on earlier, referring to the school that that we are so fortunate to be a part of, is that my family actually was raised in that neighborhood. So I've seen the neighborhood go through many changes over the years, and I'm definitely proud and humbled to be a part of this project. And I don't take it lightly, and I want this project to succeed as well as MCN. And be able to move forward into the future.
Mm-hmm.
So just touching on that, I just want the best for everyone. And
Right, right.
I didn't get here overnight. Of course, I wasn't like this my whole life, but just just the challenges that I went through coming up and, in a single family household and just being, I've seen a lot because I've seen a lot. I came up pretty much in the 70s and the 80s. So I've seen a lot of negativity, but also I've seen a lot of positivity in the neighborhoods as well. So,
so one of the people that you call seasoned vets, I like to refer to them as the OGs.
Yes, sir.
And OGs always have been around the block, know a little more than you, and can give you advice on how to school things and how to, live your life.
Yes, sir.
And so one of the things that you talked about was that what we go through becomes our identity because those challenges help create who we are and how we become the person that we want to be. So one of the things obviously that you touched on was your parents getting a divorce. And I believe that's played a large role in how you saw the world and what you did and how you interacted with the world.
Yes, sir.
So one of the things we talked about at work was these things called adverse childhood experiences. And more or less, it's when different ways that people go through challenges, and if you have a score of 4 or higher on the ACE test, then you're at risk for more health issues, behavioral, physical, and mental problems. And so can we talk about, sort of what you saw in terms of negativity and how you chose to go the other route and turn that into positivity?
Okay. Well, I mean, at a very early age, right around 10 years old, when my mom and dad divorced, my mother, bless her heart, tried to commit suicide. So I was literally the person that dialed 911.
Wow.
So I would say from that day forward, I wasn't a child. All of my childhood stuff was, pretty much, I was shown a whole different world. I was shown reality and, adult type situations. So through that experience, it was tough.
So your mom tried to commit suicide?
Yes, sir. Literally right in front of me. And
so tell us a little bit about what happened, what you saw, and things like that.
Well, I mean, I seen a woman who was defeated at the time, who seen no other recourse but to try to take her life. It was a terrible situation. I wouldn't wish that on anyone. However, what she dealt with that day, I believe just seen exhaustion as I reflect on it. I just seen a person that was exhausted and defeated, and someone that had thought their life was going a certain way, and just the rug was being pulled underneath of her. So, and on top of that, having 4 kids on top, to boot. So it was a very serious situation. And I blamed myself for years because I thought that maybe it was something I was doing, because literally as a child, my sister, she was getting all straight A's. She was a great student.
Right.
And I was just a mediocre student, just a C student.
So you thought you had something to do
with
with
it. Exactly. So, I mean, I was trying to internalize it as a 10-year-old. Of course, unable to really understand the ramifications that led to this particular moment in my life.
Right.
And I look at it today in a much more critical sense, as far as knowing the signs of depression, which could lead into other mental issues that a person can have.
Right.
And yes, they might be happy-go-lucky out in the open, or on their face, but you don't know what a person is dealing with inside. So, I mean, in the beginning as a kid, not knowing how to internalize that, I was an introvert for many years, until I found music, and music was an intricate find in my life, where I would say music found me. I didn't find music.
Right.
But music allowed me to express myself and allowed me to escape the quote unquote traumas that I had dealt with earlier on in my life. So not having, just the basic necessities that a family would have, music helped me to escape.
Okay.
To escape the realities.
So music became part of your identity and shaped you to be the person that you are.
Well, I would say it was a large part because
Mhm.
it gave me some sense of direction and hope.
Mhm.
Everyone has a dream when you're a child, and
Right.
you're seeing these musicians, great musicians on television, and you want to emulate them and become them
Mhm.
or become like them. So my brothers and myself, it was an escape at first
Okay.
to play music, but we actually became really good at it. And through years of hard work and dedication, we was able to sign an actual record deal in
Mhm.
California. So,
And for those people that don't know, which instrument do you play when you do music?
oh, I play drums. I
Okay.
play drums.
Yeah. You're a
Definitely.
drummer.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Yes,
Okay.
sir.
Cool. Cool.
Yep.
And so we touched a little bit about mental health. And obviously seeing your mom try and commit suicide and, end her life is a very, important milestone of your life. And it's caused you to understand how mental illness can affect a person. And what I loved about the way you described it is that she was exhausted and she was, what was the other word?
Defeated.
Defeated.
Mhm.
Defeated and exhausted from life.
Mhm.
And that ultimately is a great way to explain how you can go through a breakdown and just feel like everything is working against you and you have nothing left in life
Yes, sir.
to give. When in reality, we just need to take a step back, take some time to, focus on ourselves and ultimately get better.
Yes, sir. And and definitely takes people a support system. I don't care whom you seek out. People don't know if they don't know that
Hmm.
you're going through something, then they can't help.
Hmm.
So we all have to be accountable and communicate, our feelings to the
Hmm.
people that we truly trust.
Right.
I know we're not going to go out here and express our feelings to everyone. However, we do, everyone has at least one person that they can confide in
Right. Right.
and start the conversation.
Yeah.
Some people need venting. Some people actually are searching for a way to seek help,
Hmm.
and they just don't know how to go about it.
Right.
So,
Right.
um, seeing my mom go through that situation gave me a lot of empathy
Hmm.
for people with mental illness.
Hmm.
However, a lot of people are in denial about it, and you can't push them either way because believe you me, I am no PhD. I cannot diagnose an
Yeah.
ant with anything.
Right. Right.
However, I just know that the human condition that that we're here on this earth that we
Hmm.
deal with every day, it's a grind. It's a
Hmm.
serious grind, and um, we all are going through some sort of reckoning, whether within or within our family
Hmm.
household dynamics. So if we can just remain open to the idea that this depression, it might be depression because you can be mad or angry or frustrated, but
Right.
most people usually shake it off after a while.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it
So.
becomes a problem where you can get into trouble where it festers, and
So understanding the emotions and being able to identify them is
yes,
the important part.
yes,
And at the end of the day, what it goes back to is identifying identity. What is the source? What is the root? What is ultimately the being that we're looking for?
exactly.
And so we touched on music being a part of your identity. So you're one of the most positive people that I know. And that's on a day in and day out basis where I see you and you bring this sort of joy and happiness to wherever you go. So let's talk a little bit about how you became so positive and forward thinking about the future. And at the end of the day, even though we think about the future so much and think about the past, all we've got is right now. So let's touch on why you're so positive.
Well, I was, of course, working, and a great woman by the name of Eva. Um, we were just having regular conversation, and I was getting ready to go through my second divorce,
Hmm.
so I wasn't feeling so upbeat.
Hmm.
And she was just like, "Where's your smile? What's going on?" And I
Hmm.
was just, I was being closed off. I didn't want to tell anybody my issues. Um, so the next day, she brought down a book
Hmm.
with the laws of attraction, and basically, it was just thinking positively consciously thinking positively and being in a place in your mind of joy. And I didn't understand it, of course, in the beginning, because I just knew growing up, there was a lot of negativity. So negativity was pretty much the norm for myself.
Right. Negativity breeds more negativity.
Exactly. So the laws of attraction actually taught me how to think differently. And from that one little, it was less than 100 pages.
Yeah.
It opened my mind to a whole different perspective that I had been searching for well over 4 decades. I literally, through my lifetime, I literally dabbled in many different religions and just searching for an identity, trying to get validation from man and woman outside instead of searching within for my own validation and knowing my own self-worth. So it's been a serious journey. Has it been difficult at times? Of course. Challenging at times.
Right.
However, through reading that book, I always was able to come back to a place of center, to realize that today is its own challenges. Tomorrow is a whole new day, and how I think about it, it will manifest itself. Yeah. So we're not only reading the laws of attraction, but there's many other books that I've read over the past decade that has helped me in so many different ways, but also having a support system readily available too. Right. But my support system was always there, but I didn't communicate it to them. So it wasn't, those precious gems weren't opened up to me until I opened up my mouth and said, "Hey, I'm going through something."
Right. So the important part that you just talked about is the fact that we can never relate to one another if we never open the dialogue and open the communication. And that's what I really wanted this to be, is basically a way to talk about what you're going through, what you're seeing, what you're experiencing. Because at the end of the day, someone else out there has gone through the same thing that you're going through. And if you never communicate that to them, you'll never learn the solution, because a lot of people have already came up with these problems, already came up with solutions, and done it time in and time again.
Yes. Very much so.
And so one of the things that we talked about identity is drinks, right? So for people that don't know, I have a drinking problem, you can call it. Alcohol is a vice for me, and I've had to work hard to stay away from it for the past few months. So now, instead of alcohol, I know you got a little bit of drink in your cup, but for me, I'm sipping on Capri Suns. You can have one here as my guest. But basically,
this is my guy.
Yeah. So basically, for those of you that know me, I'm still a kid at heart, and I love my chocolate milk, which unfortunately I wasn't able to bring today. But we've got Capri Suns, so we got the strawberry kiwi flavor, and let me get this in here. You can mix it in with your drink if you want to, but
I already have my
cheers, sir.
Cheers, sir.
We're slowly making progress with it. All right. So we know you love music. Another thing that I know about you, for the audience, what's your drink of choice? If you had one, and this is easy.
Adult beverage?
Nah. I'm talking about like just regular.
Oh, regular drink? Oh, of course, sweet tea.
Yep.
Pure leaf sweet tea.
For every single day that I've seen this man, all he's craving is a sweet tea. He could be on death's bed, and all he wants is to drink a little bit more sweet tea before he kicks the can.
Yes, sir.
So music, sweet tea, cars. Let's talk about cars, because cars is definitely a part of your identity, correct?
Correct, and I would say that's how I was able to become closer to my dad. Okay. My dad was, he's no longer here. Rest in peace. He was a military veteran, 35 years in the United States Army. Okay, wow. So he went to Vietnam 3 times. So my family has seen a lot over the years. And my dad, of course, when you go to war, you're never the same. That person is never the same. Yeah. So,
and PTSD is another form of mental illness.
Exactly.
That doesn't really get addressed the way it should. But it's just as important as being, depressed, having, bipolar, schizophrenia, whatever. But PTSD can cause you to see things and remember things that, happen to you, and they can just really mess with the way that you see life.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So, I mean, so through, he was really, I always was trying to search, for something, some commonality that we could actually share.
Mm-hmm.
Now, sports, of course, we share that, and we're diehard, homers, all
Mm-hmm.
of the teams in Washington D.C.
Mm-hmm.
So, besides sports, it was cars, and through my dad, I learned a lot about cars and how they feel, and just the all just the experience of them. So I would say just speaking about it now just warms my heart, because I just know my dad. If I
Yeah.
could, I mean, I know he's seen it spiritually, but if he could see my car, I know he would have so many things to say about it.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
So for the audience, what kind of car do you drive?
I drive a Cadillac V Sport.
Okay. And I know there's a great story behind it, because you've told me that you've waited a few years actually just to get that car.
Yes, sir. Well, through we just fast forward from the laws of attraction to I was introduced to The Secret as well.
Mm-hmm.
So these books that I was reading, there was more about taking control and being accountable for your own thoughts and actions. And if you have more positive thoughts and more, if your thoughts are more if you're thinking forward, if you have a plan for your thoughts, things can actually happen. So
it's like manifesting.
It manifests itself. So I mean, I started off with little things in the beginning, and when I seen that when the Cadillac V Sport came out, I was definitely interested in the vehicle, and I manifested it into my life within 4 years.
Oh wow! Okay.
So I mean, I knew the specific model I wanted, and I envisioned that and so many other things at the same time.
And what did you name your car?
Lady in Black.
Lady in Black.
Yeah,
okay.
She's black.
Yep.
She's black on black on black.
Yep. That's the way to do it.
She's pretty, yeah. She has a pretty dress on.
And I know you spend a lot of time keeping her clean and washing her every weekend, don't you?
Well, yes, I do, because I mean, I continue to be humbled and grateful for what I have. So, and if you get something, you have to take care of it as well. It doesn't matter if it's a piece of machinery or a precious relationship that you have with your family members.
Wow.
So
that's beautiful.
Yes, sir. So,
everything you're going to take care of that you're given.
That's it. That's it.
And might I even add, each blessing that you're given, you should be appreciative for and thankful for, and take care of that blessing.
Yes, sir. All the time.
So
we take things for granted a lot, because I know everybody is quote unquote busy, and we're everybody's leading a life of where we only have so many hours in a day to actually slow down and think and recharge and be thankful and grateful for what we already have. We're always thinking about what we don't have.
Right.
And I think through my to segue into with this whole with the COVID pandemic, it afforded me to be more appreciative of the things that I have.
Right.
Because everything literally came to a halt.
Right.
Luckily, and through many blessings, we didn't stop end the beat or stop working. So we're definitely fortunate in that sense to continue to be working.
Right.
And just be more appreciative of what we have already in the relationships that we have. No relationship is perfect, but at least we have relationships. So I definitely cherish the friendship that we have developed since we've, been introduced to each other. And, I wish nothing but the best for you, sir, in the future. And I know you're going to get there.
No, I appreciate that. And like I said, you're one of the closest friends I've got right now. And, it means a lot to me to see you, always be positive and always, be there for me. And even be a guest here on this podcast.
Yes,
but
what we have to say no, yes more than we say no.
Right.
Because before I actually opened myself up, I said no a lot. It was like second nature, but through the laws of attraction and The Secret, you have to change your thought pattern. So you say yes more than you say no. So, I mean, it's been an interesting journey the past 10 years.
Right.
So, I mean, I've met some interesting people and been in some interesting situations and great situations.
And then there's some situations where you're like, how did I end up here?
Exactly. But we won't talk about that.
That's for a different podcast.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. However, the main thing is to continue to stay positive. If one thing that you hear from me this evening is, no matter what's happening today, it's all in our mind most of the time. It's terrible in our mind. And then the next day it won't be so terrible. So we just have to keep pushing forward. And strive. The quote of the day for me is always striving to be the best version of yourself. Because there's only, you're one of one. So I mean, no one can be like you. So we want the more positive you to come out. And if we can all strive every day to be accountable and to be a better version of ourselves.
Okay. So
every single day.
Say the quote one more time.
Always striving to be a better version of yourself.
Okay. And do you know who that's by?
Stephen D. Donerson.
Stephen D. Donerson.
That's
I like that.
Yes,
I like that.
Yes.
Okay. So let's talk a little bit about religion. I know for a lot of people that's off topic. But before we do that, what I wanted to say was sort of what this whole podcast is about is taking whatever you're afraid of, taking whatever you're overwhelmed by, and leaning into it and being open about what is causing us issues. So one thing, if you don't mind us talking, is about why you didn't want to do this episode today.
Well, I mean, like everyone else, we're self-conscious about different things. And with me, I'm literally in the middle of getting some dental work done. So I don't have my pearly whites and I don't, I don't have a Colgate smile. So I was literally going to cancel out on To Cure this evening. However, he literally threw one of the quotes that I had quoted to him before. So I literally looked at him and was just like, oh my God. I mean, he's so right though.
Yeah.
So, I mean, just being able to take a fear or insecurity and just being able to push through, power through, or just take that deep breath and leap of faith. I don't have my Colgate smile today, yet I'm here doing a podcast for a friend of mine because he means a lot to me and I didn't want to let him down. And I wanted to have another notch checked off as far as something that I'm insecure about. So it's been a lot of insecurities that I've had to deal with. My list is definitely smaller than it was 10 years ago, but I still have a few. But I just figure I'm human. So as long as I strive every day to work on myself and be accountable for my actions, I think I'll be okay.
And so, obviously you were self-conscious about the way your smile looked. And one of the things I told you is no matter what happens, you're perfect the way you are. Yes, and we're always a work in progress. Yes, and so one of the songs that we both talked about was called Crooked Smile by J. Cole. And the line is, we ain't picture perfect, but we're worth the picture still. Yes. So no matter what you look like, no matter what you're going through, no matter how you're feeling, you're there for a reason and you're perfect just the way you are.
Thank you.
And even if you're perfect, there's always things to make better. And so that's where our goal should be, is to improve ourselves. And ultimately, we are our biggest competitor because we challenge ourselves and keep us in a place where we need to grow. And a lot of the times we're either our biggest supporter or our biggest enemy. And it's up to us to decide who gets to come out alive. The good positive side of you or the negative side of you. And for a long time, I've let my negative side come out just because, growing up, that's what I was used to. That's the environment. That's this or that. But I can't blame all that other bullshit for the way I've been, acting and behaving recently, of course. And so now I'm learning that I have to choose to be positive and branch myself out in another direction and show myself in a way that many people might not be used to. And it's going to take time to get accustomed to that new person. And that's what this is to grow into something better than than what you were before.
That's it. We're a constant work in progress. I mean, nobody's perfect, and if we were, it wouldn't be worth living another day if we all were perfect. So we all have things that we need to be working on, things that we should be working on, things that we are working on. So just remember that we're human, and we can always be doing better.
Yeah.
But stop being in competition with everybody else, and just, I mean, I found it a lot easier being in my own lane, honestly. Because being in my own lane, I'm the only one here. You know, I'm the only one that's doing what I'm doing, so to speak. So,
right.
I used to get caught up into what the Joneses are doing or what have you. So, but we just, as people, every day, it's another opportunity to be a better version of yourself.
Right.
And if we can do that, you know, I mean, it's you know, like with everything else, it's challenging to be disciplined, to consciously think this way. And yes, some days I forget. I mean, yes, I'm human.
Yeah.
However, I get right back on that horse and continue on.
Yeah.
And that's why when things try to get me, to react negatively, I more than likely use it as an opportunity to be more positive.
Right.
So, but that's something that I learned over the years.
Yeah. And for me, one of the things that I was struggling with myself is that we try to control everything else in our life, and we try to change the world and change this and change that and change everything around us. But when I realized that if I change myself, then that's the same thing as me changing the world, because I am in my own world or in my own lane. And so if you change yourself, you change the world. So let's talk a little bit about religion, how it affects you, what you believe in, where your stances lie on God and everything else.
Well, religion, I mean, let's literally start wars, and I mean, everyone has their own opinion and their narrative. Like I stated before, a lifetime studying many different religions. And for me, at this particular stage in my life, I'm more of a spiritual person.
Okay.
Because I know no matter what, all of the religions that I studied, love was the most important thing.
Yeah, I agree with
that. It was the most important emotion. And I just know for Stephen right now, I mean, I'm just more of a spiritual person. So I don't knock anybody for what they believe in. Everybody has an opinion and a narrative. And that's why we live in this great country, because everybody can choose to worship what they want to.
Right.
So I just know, as long as we practice love every day, love won't allow you to act crazy. It won't allow you to be frustrating. It won't allow you to be greedy.
Right. It
won't allow you to be selfish. You know, it's the exact opposite.
Love is the most powerful emotion on the face of this planet.
Yes.
So one thing I wanted to talk about is that you have an interesting take, and you don't just believe in God itself, but you believe in 3 different entities. And if you could explain those 3 entities, what they mean to you, and overall how that plays into the spiritual aspect.
Well, developing, I mean, it didn't just come overnight. Pretty much over time, I was able to understand a little bit more. Because once I got to the understanding that I knew very little, because I've only been here 5 decades, and this world has been here for millions of years. So
right.
What do I really know?
However, you got to be humble.
Right, I am very humble about that. So what I do understand is, I don't get caught up in the name. I just know that God is the creator. So the creator, the universe which we live in, and the ancestors which I come from, and which we all come from. So I give thanks to the creator, to the universe, and to the ancestors.
Okay.
Because we all are energy. And I mean, people tend to believe one or the other, but I don't get caught up into that. And I just know that we are energy, and energy doesn't die. I mean, that's something that we know. So I'm not once again, I'm not trying to get anybody to believe what I believe because I'm still evolving.
Yeah, it's not about convincing anyone.
Yes.
It's about just proclaiming what you believe in and how that affects you. So you believe in the creator, the universe, and the ancestors.
Yes.
And those three is what creates your spiritual identity.
Yes.
Okay, cool,
Yes.
cool. Appreciate that. So we talked a little bit about what you're insecure about, right? So if you want, I'll be human for a second and I'll tell you my insecurities, right? You didn't like your smile. I don't like my nose.
Okay.
So I've gotten bullied about it for, tons of times that my nose is a little weird, it's a little fucked up, this or that. And so for a long time I didn't like my appearance and it just was bothersome to me looking in the mirror. But now I realize that that's a part of me, and rather than fixing it or becoming or changing it to the way society wants, I'd rather just own it as myself and take my problems and turn it into a solution.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
Yeah.
It's interesting because I know, I mean, when I see people, I look into their eyes. So, I mean, I really didn't even notice your nose, honestly.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Okay.
Because
It's got a little hook to it because
I
I
mean,
broke
but see,
it.
you know better than yourself.
Exactly.
So I understand.
And it's the same way where it was like I didn't realize you were self-conscious about your teeth until you told me, right? And you realize things after you're being told or after the communication occurs.
Right.
So the most important part that we're learning throughout this journey is communication. Because at the end of the day, being in our mind, we don't know what someone else is thinking unless you tell them.
Yeah.
But what's it called? So going back a little bit, talking about music, we talked about Crooked Smile by J. Cole. The other song that I wanted to mention was the one that you told me about when you first got your car. So what song was that? And tell me a story about what happened.
It was a song that I started manifesting when I started, thinking about this vehicle. And just being successful. Because at the time, I was newly divorced, homeless. I literally had no prospects on anything. And most people would have went crazy.
Right.
And at times I thought I was getting ready to, but I just kept on holding on that extra day. I said, well, maybe today will be the day that something will happen. And slowly but surely it did. So once I started manifesting the type of vehicle and the type of life I wanted to lead and so forth and so on, the song by Trey, Songz and Drake, Successful. I just want to be successful. I mean, and it was just, it's just a catchy hook. Yeah,
it is a very catchy song because I had never heard of it until you told me about it. So I went and I started playing it, and it's got a very nice catchy hook to it. Okay. So one thing that you briefly mentioned was you were homeless. So let's talk about what that experience was like, how long you were homeless, what you went through, what time in your life that was, everything like that.
Going through my divorce.
And you've gotten divorced twice, correct?
Yes. I'm a two-time winner.
How? You're a two-time winner.
Yes.
That's a great way to put it. And obviously that goes back to how you spin everything in a positive way.
Exactly.
So how long did your first marriage last, and how long did your second marriage last?
My first marriage lasted less than a year. We both were young. Okay. Second one, it was 10 years.
Oh,
it was 10 years. So that one, it was devastating.
Yeah.
Because all of the lessons I thought I learned in my first marriage, I was going to apply to my second. But of course, there's new things that you don't know and nuances. And of course, everybody's different.
Yeah. And life's always trying to throw you a curveball.
Life is always going to throw you a curveball. Yeah. But it's all in how we, come back up and, get back up and back. So at the time, I was just home. I was homeless. The recession, because it was just a domino effect. Right. It was, the recession happened, and then I lost my job, and then, being separated, and then being separated to being homeless. So literally, I went from being a person that was working two jobs to literally nothing.
Mm-hmm.
and receiving unemployment for the first time, which was weird to me.
Mm-hmm.
Weird because I'd always, been the type of person to be able to get out and work. So
Right. Right.
when that situation happened, it was one of the most challenging experiences in my life, I would say.
And so, how long were you homeless for?
I was homeless for almost a year and a half.
A year and a half.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I learned a lot about the system. I learned a lot about myself, and I learned a lot about other people as well. So I don't fault anybody, because negativity just only going to just bring you down, and it's a heavy burden to carry. And
Right.
I've seen people hold grudges for 30, 40, 50 years, and it's not worth it.
Yeah.
There's so much life to live out here.
Right.
And the way that I, through the lessons I've learned over the years was one of the very important lessons is that your experiences that you go through, there's always something to learn from it. Whether it's, we always want to learn from the positive.
Yeah.
It's easy to learn from the positive.
Yeah, anybody can do that.
Right. But when it's, when quote unquote it's negative, and I don't even say negative, I just say it's a learning experience. Choices that we made, consciously or unconsciously, led us to be in this predicament, to this moment that we're in right now.
Right, right.
So, yes, we have a lot to do with where we go. Other people have as well. However, we can only be accountable for ourselves. So, as the economy started picking up, I started actually talking to people more, and before you know it, I started to communicate with people that I hadn't communicated with in many, many moons.
Yeah.
And out of everybody, I would say, out of everybody in this whole entire world, only one family looked out for me and said, when they found out I was homeless, they were like, "You're moving in here right now."
And who was that person that came and saved you during your time of need?
It was Mrs. Mills. Mrs. Mills, she's definitely been my guardian angel and my saving grace, because I literally didn't know how I was going to continue on. But I just knew I was going to get back up and continue again. Every day there's a new opportunity.
Right,
so
right.
I wasn't going to give up. I wasn't going to quit.
Yeah.
And through my experiences, I learned that, it's just a, temporary problem. And I have to be able to listen to Creator, Universe, and ancestors, and the opportunities that they bring my way to be able to take advantage of them. But I can't take advantage of them if I'm in a negative state, if I'm in a depressed state, if I'm in a victimization state. And I try to let myself, because like I said, once again, I'm human like anyone else. However, I don't let myself be frustrated for too long. I take it for what it is. Life happens. Mrs. Mills always told me, sometimes you're the statue, sometimes you're the bird. It's nothing personal. It's just, you just reverse roles.
Yeah.
I mean, I laugh at that now, but when you're going through some things, you just need to be able to laugh and just not take life so seriously. Because life is going to happen regardless.
Yeah.
It's how we deal with it.
You just got to roll with the punches.
You got to roll with the punches, and I mean, quote unquote, we're intelligent people.
Yeah.
So
you're only as intelligent as your decisions show.
Exactly, and if we're more patient, then we're able to make better choices at times. And I mean, it's only your life. So
yeah, you don't get it back for a second time.
No, sir. No, sir.
Okay. All right. So let's talk a little bit about, what is your purpose in life? We've learned your identity. Your identity is comprised of cars, music, helping others, positivity, being a source of inspiration. So what is your purpose in life?
The book is still being written at this particular moment. I know serving is a big part of it, because so much was given to me. And I know that I've been given a lot of knowledge and experiences, and I have to be able to teach the younger generation, or even people my age or maybe a little bit older or younger. I mean, I just have information.
Right.
I'm not, I'm not going to run around and try to yell on the top of the tallest hill what I know. However, if someone needs someone to talk to, I mean, I'll just let them vent. Sometimes people just want to vent and have nobody judge them.
Yeah.
And I have a no judgment zone. If you have an issue or something, you can just vent to me. I'm not going to make a decision either way. If you want help or something, we can try to find, someone or get the help that you need, whatever it is. If it's cars or if it's, something,
girls,
right, whatever. I mean, it's, I don't have all the answers, but, I just try to enjoy life now. And I just know that there was always someone to help me out. And I never wanted to hand out. They always were giving me a hand up. Whether it was just little gems, words of wisdom, words of encouragement, being supportive. I mean, we need that.
Right.
And as humans, we have many different sides to us, and we have many different emotions.
Yeah.
And
we can go through a lot of those emotions all at once.
Exactly. But we have to consciously be in the moment. It's hard at times because we're always thinking about the past or the future. We have to enjoy the moment, the present. Yeah. Because what we do in the present will affect us in the future. We can't change the past. The past is already gone. But we can learn from the past. Right. And we have to be accountable, each individual person. I have to be accountable for who I see in the mirror every day. Right. And I've been given too many chances to change my life, not to do it. And
that's a beautiful thing you just said right there.
Yeah, because
I've been given too many chances to change my life in order for me to not do it.
Exactly. So, I mean, I put my seatbelt on and I enjoy life every day. I really do. I'm not going to be the type of person to try to tell you I know everything, because I don't. Yeah. I'm smart enough to know that I don't know anything. Yeah. When I was in my 20s, I thought I knew everything.
Right. That's kind of where I'm at right now.
Yeah. I mean, life has a way of showing you, slow down.
It'll put you on your ass before you can know what you do.
Exactly. But we have to learn from our experiences. And if I can say another thing, just to be accountable and be responsible. We all want things yesterday, right now, and the most expensive. But there's levels to getting to what we want. And we just have to be patient, right, in order to get there.
Yeah, I want to be a millionaire. It's going to happen, but it's not going to happen right now.
I mean, hey, you just never know. I mean, but as long as you're working towards it, whatever you desire, your passion, those that are fortunate enough to know what their passion is, cultivate that. Right. Cultivate that to ends, to the ends of the earth. Because when you have, when you're actually experiencing your passion, it's not work.
Yeah, it feels amazing because you enjoy it so much.
I mean, it really is.
Yeah.
I mean, I had that feeling playing music, entertaining people. It's helping them forget about their problems for 2 hours. That was amazing.
And one thing that you always talk about when it comes to music is the energy and the vibrations that come from sound. So talk to me a little bit about how energy gets transformed through music.
Well, through real instruments and even through DJing. I mean, it takes a human that has energy and the mood that person's in, decides, the notes that they're going to play, the beats that they're going to play, how they play those beats, how they play those notes. When you're in a positive place, the notes and scales are in a whole different stratosphere. And the same when you're feeling down, those notes are very dark. And that's the slippery slope that we, when we create music.
It's the yin and the yang.
Exactly. Yeah. Because yes, if most authors and writers, they have great songs, but they went through some great experiences to get those songs or those books. So I mean, it's life, and I commend anyone that can express themselves, to tell a story, whether they're singing, whether they're doing a painting or playing instruments, whatever it is you're doing to express yourself. I mean, it's amazing. Music, I was fortunate enough to be able to play. It was an amazing experience. I still play every now and then.
Yeah.
But mainly hobby now.
One of the quotes that I thought about when you just explained about that, it's another song from J. Cole, and he has a line that says, "Beauty in the struggle, ugliness in the success." And so in our day-to-day lives, we need to think of our struggle and whatever we're going through as beautiful, and ultimately our goal is to reach some sort of success. So there's beauty in the struggle, ugliness in the success. And having that contradicting ideology or the belief that what I'm going to get is going to bring me happiness versus what I can do right now to bring myself happiness. And I think passionate wise, I want to make people laugh, I want to do jokes, this and that, but ultimately I want to find happiness. And happiness is something that we all try to strive for on a daily basis. And some of us are fortunate enough to understand that money is not going to bring you happiness. Possessions aren't going to bring you happiness. It's a state of mind. And that state of mind is something that you can cultivate on your own. And it takes a lot of practice, like you talked about, to actively be positive and be happy and share with others the way you feel. Because at the end of the day, if I'm doing something that I enjoy, I want to come up to you and share it with you and be like, oh, look, here's this song, here's this quote, here's this whatever, here's this, sports team that I enjoy and I want you to do it too. And so I think we share that same bond over helping others. My purpose right now is to help myself before I help others.
Self-preservation, and that's, I mean, you'll be a better, a more believable advocate because you've actually been through that particular struggle. That's what people don't understand. People, whatever our shortcomings are, people tend to gravitate or feel more comfortable with someone that's been through a situation similar to what they're going through at the moment.
Right.
And I think it's something healthy, and you're just scratching the surface on what's to come.
Yeah, I mean, I hope so, man.
Oh,
trying
every day. It's a new opportunity. It's a new opportunity. So we can learn many different lessons through life if we just take the time to be accountable and look at the person that's in the mirror.
Right.
Yes, I didn't like that person.
Yeah.
However, that person in the mirror was trying to be many different people. I was trying to put on so many different masks for different people to make them feel comfortable. And at the same time, I lost touch with whom I was.
Right.
I didn't know what I was doing because I was trying to keep other people happy. But once I got to the point in my life to where it's like, hey, what about me being happy?
Right.
It's not being selfish. It's just being, you have to be, in order to be, to worry about, to be concerned about yourself, you have to really be concerned about others and just genuinely concerned for other people's welfare and want nothing but the best for them.
Right.
And that's something, 20, 30 years ago, I'm like, what? No. Because I'm thinking, I'm focused.
Yeah.
Tunnel vision.
Right. Okay. All right. So, so you said your quote about always striving to be the best. The quote that I wanted to share is, the only reason for time is so that everything doesn't happen at once. And the person that said that was Albert Einstein. One of the most influential and intelligent people to ever be on this planet.
Hello.
Hey, how you doing? But so what do you think? So that quote to me means the reason for time is so that everything doesn't happen at once. We all want to be successful right now. We all want $1 million. We all want Colgate smile. We all want a perfect, perfect, life story, storybook ending. But it's gonna take time, and there's beauty in the struggle, ugliness in the success. Um, so the other thing is my song. I've got a couple. So one is called "Welcome to My Hood" by Diljit Dosanjh, and that one I've shared with you. It's the Punjabi song, and it's all in Punjabi. And if you go on YouTube, you can watch the music video and click on the captions, so that way you get the English translation. You don't pause it. Oh. Yeah. We'll just wrap this up. The song "Welcome to My Hood" by Diljit Dosanjh. It's Punjabi, and if you click on the video, you can click on captions to get the English translation to every line. And my favorite line is, "We might have bad habits, but we got good intentions." And so that really speaks to me because, yeah, I got a little bit of bad habits doing this, drinking, smoking, fucking. We're not going to go into everything. But we might have bad habits, but we got good intentions. And the intentions is to be better. And the other song I wanted to share is called "Me Versus Me" by Moneybagg Yo. And so, me versus me. I am my biggest challenge, and I am my biggest competitor when it comes to succeeding and living a happy life. But is there anything else you wanted to share?
No, I think we definitely covered a lot. I'm sure there'll be a part 2.
Mm-hmm. Hopefully there's a part 2.
No, it will be. Just thinking positive. Once again, thinking positively. Mm-hmm. So, I am humbled and grateful that you took the time out of your schedule to put me on your podcast and opening up my home to you and introducing me to Mrs. Mills, who was intricate in changing my life. Let you see, just peel the onion back just a little bit more for you today. Yeah. So we're all complex people. Like I tell you every day, don't be in such a rush. Life is going to happen regardless. Yeah. Enjoy the ride, but be prepared. Whatever you want to do, in order for you to be successful, you have to prepare and be disciplined, so that when the opportunities come about, you can take advantage of them. So we all want success tomorrow. Yeah. But if success came to you, you'd be like, wait a minute, I'm going to need about 6 months and I'll be right with you. Yeah, you got to be ready for it whenever it comes. That's right. Yeah, I got you. So, all right, cool. I think we're good then. Oh, so. Yeah, we're good. Okay, good. Right. Stuff. Appreciate it, brother. Of course, man. King. Yep. Positive thoughts. Call him King. Yep. Oh, yeah. Let's talk a little bit about that. So your nickname for me is King. And what does that nickname mean to you, and why did you give it to me? I see T like I see a lot of myself in T. When I was younger, just searching and gravitating towards things that might not necessarily be good for us down the road. Yeah. But at the moment, it seems fun. It seems, everybody else is doing it. So it seems, it seems okay. But I just want to continue to change the narrative. My younger brother first introduced me to the words. And he was talking about wordplay. And we talked about kings and queens. Mm-hmm. And so we started calling everyone that we meet the adult kings, males, queens, females, and the children, princes, and baby king, so little or princess. Yeah. So when T was going through his little situation, I was just trying to reiterate to him that no matter what he thinks of himself, I see him a different way. Mm. And slowly but surely, T started asking me, "Hey man, why are you calling me King?" Yeah. It's not because I see something that you don't see right now.
Mm-hmm.
Because when we're in the forest, we don't see a lot that's going on because we're in the forest.
Mm-hmm.
And branches and leaves are hitting us all in the face, and
Yeah.
acorns are hitting us on the head. Life has a way of always showing us something new.
Mm-hmm.
So what I seen on the outside looking in, is that I see the king.
Mm-hmm.
I see the king.
And I'm gonna be honest with you. Every time I hear you say that, or I hear you call me king, that just reminds me you got to elevate yourself to a higher standard. You got to hold yourself above everyone else.
No, not above everyone else. You got to hold yourself to a higher standard.
Mm-hmm.
Meaning, not trying to be better than anyone else, but being the best version of you.
Okay. So thank you for even correcting me on that. Because obviously, like my philosophy or my way of thinking can get skewed at times. But you're always there to correct me and to guide me and to help me on my path.
I'm just here to assist because other people did it for me,
and
they didn't have to.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just a snotty-nosed kid most of the time. But people were always there to, just say, hey, give me words of wisdom and saying, hey, I can be whatever it is I want to be.
Mm-hmm.
Truly, you can.
Yeah.
But it all starts up here first.
Yeah. No, that's powerful. So, all right, cool. Appreciate it.
Oh, much love. Much love, King.